Hey, it's Tim, Pickup Truck Plus SUV Talk. It's another Friday, another news recap, and special edition this week. I'm in Chicago with Jill. We are doing it live from her office. We got a lot of cool teaser stuff coming for you guys, or news items, should say more accurately. We got some lawsuits got settled. Some people did some no-no stuff. They got caught. We got some problems with Ford F-50 that we know of. We have some videos this week. We have a lot of stuff to talk about in this news recap. And it's always fun. I love doing the series of videos. So, because I like news. It's good stuff. So let's start with the top one. Ford's going to pay $19.2 million. That's what, you know what MLN is million?
Actually, it should be the editor and me. It should just be 19.2 capital M.
Yeah.
That is the appropriate AP style. At least the last time
right, yeah,
I did AP style. So yeah, there you go.
All right, threw me for a loop. Anyways, $19.2 million, false advertising claims. And so some of this is for the C-Max, which is their car. But we're looking here, multi-state settlement 2011 to 2014 Ford Super Duty pickups. I know exactly what we're talking about because I threw a fit about this back in, just say a few years ago.
I was going to say back in 2013.
Yeah.
Because, you know.
Right. So C-Max, let's just skip that. They just misquoted the advertising for the impressive fuel economy numbers. What we're going to go a little bit more, Joe, right there.
Okay.
So stop. So let's, no, here we go. The states allege, can you highlight this? The states allege that the Ford used deceptive methodology for reclaiming the best-in-class payload capacity after other trucks had surpassed Ford. So remember back in the day, you used to do some fairy magical dust and you had more towing. Oh, all of a sudden. Well, they did the same thing with payload. And this is the great quote. In calculating the maximum payload capacity of its vehicles, investigation found Ford employed a truck configuration it did not actually intend to sell to individual buyers.
Oops.
So it basically built this unicorn. And I've talked about this a lot of times, unicorns, right?
Yeah.
Unicorn, it had no standards. It didn't have standard items such as spare tire, tire and wheel jack, radio, center console. There was even a moment in time where they claimed the F450 was the best in class because it weighed the same. It was in the same class as the F350 because they took off the rear bumper. That little bit allowed them to get best-in-class ratings. So they got caught. They got nailed. And so in 2021, they recalled nearly 12,000 2020 F-350 trucks because of incorrect payload values. Anywhere from 78 to 900 pounds were incorrectly stated.
So 900 pounds, by the way, is like 9 of me.
Yeah, I mean, that's a massive thing. So, yeah. So if you have one of those older Super Duties, I would definitely be cautious about the payload number. Because I don't think it's correct. The best thing to do is take your truck to a scale, weigh it, subtract the gross vehicle weight rating minus curb weight. That's what you need to know. So, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Tough on Ford.
Yeah.
All right. So Chevy Silverado. So this is kind of a no surprise to anybody. Everything's getting more expensive. The third time this year, the Silverado 1500 and GMC's 1500 have seen a price increase. The fourth time this year, the heavy duties have had a price increase. Our friends at GM Authority did some deep diving. They love this deep diving stuff, but they found that starting with light duty options, they rung up another $900 across the board. And if you look at the heavy duties, they were another $800, I think, above the board. But the biggest difference there is the destination fee. We talked about this last night live stream.
Oh, yeah.
The destination fee is a sneaky way to get more and more profit. You just keep increasing that, and you can't not pay that.
No, you can't. That is like the one non-negotiable thing.
Right.
When you are purchasing a vehicle, that you have to pay.
Yeah. So the ZR2 is up $3,400. And this is not even dealer markups. This is straight from the manufacturer. And so the cheapest GMC Sierra is $37,195. Good luck finding that one.
Yeah.
And that's $4,700 increase over the pricing announced last October. And we've covered this story many times too. Yeah. It's every time we look at it, it goes up a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more.
Turn around every now and then it goes up again.
Yes.
So yeah,
it's totally going up. So then we have another story of another bad boy company here, FCA Fiat Chrysler. At the time is now Stellantis. They were found guilty in the emissions fraud probe. If you remember this story, this was really exciting. The EPA sued Ram and said, you guys misstated your EcoDiesel numbers, right?
Okay.
Diesel power, or Stellantis, they had the Ram 1500, the Jeep Grand Cherokee SUVs, right? Then when that lawsuit came out, when that notice came out, whatever, Stellantis CEO at the time, the gentleman who died, passed away, unfortunately, Marchoni.
Yep.
He fired back the EPA and said, we're going to sue you guys. So there was this back and forth going on with these companies. They're suing each other, getting all mad. But basically what they found was the 3-liter EcoDiesel V6 emitted more NOx in certain driving situations, notably high speeds, using engine management software wasn't disclosed to the EPA for testing. What's that sound like?
Cheating.
That's the Dieselgate cheating.
And this was before Dieselgate.
Yes, this is before Dieselgate. This was, well, I think it was around the same time period. But anyways, they got caught.
When Volkswagen got caught. So
right. And then so Ram and Jeep redid their diesel, and Consumer Reports and many fans saw that the power delivery was less, that the fuel economy was less.
Right.
And so in addition to the plea agreement here, which is approximately 100,000 Ram and Jeep vehicles, what's interesting is they reported an FCA employee will face charges.
Ooh.
This guy's person, a guy, girl, whatever, is facing individual charges for misleading regulators. Stellantis has said, we didn't do anything. We didn't do anything wrong. And they said, nope, the EPA found a cheat test defeat device. And this is what really got in EPA's claw, right? You can misstate numbers, we'll follow up, whatever. But if you're installing defeat devices on your trucks from factory, no, EPA is going to get really upset with that. So that's got a big thing happening. So the third gen, I think it is, because the first gen EcoDiesel was overseas, second gen in the United States, third gen was here. That they have rechanged stuff. It has better power, better fuel economy. It's a second gen, which has been some reliability issues in that ones too. So not only did it lie, there were reliability issues. I mean, that second gen is, that's a thing. So that was kind of exciting news I saw this week. So what did we do on the website?
Yeah. So, we were traveling this week, so I'll be honest, we didn't have a lot going on, but we did get a couple of good stories, I think. And the first one is this. If you're not familiar with the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety, they are basically the organization that kind of keeps automakers in check in terms of their safety regulations and technology. And so they are forever changing. They are forever changing their tests to make things more difficult in order to make automakers work harder, frankly, and make us better, make us safer. So they just released, they changed the side crash test back in October. And what they did is, again, they made it harder. But what they were finding is when they did that side crash test, so 70% of people were less likely to die in this crash, but 23% of passenger vehicle deaths in 2020 were still coming from the side crash. And so they're like, okay, we got to make this harder so that people will do better. So this new crash produces about 82% more energy in order to, and in order to get a top score, the vehicle's occupant compartment must hold its shape during the crash. So, and the dummies can't have a high, show a risk of a high severe injury.
Do you mean not the dummy passenger, but a real crash test dummy?
Yes. Yeah. So not this guy.
Hey.
But an actual crash test dummy. So the results were really interesting. So they did the same test on small SUVs. And we have a story about that on the website. It's linked up here in the top. Those performed very badly. But thankfully, the midsize vehicles performed a little bit better. But there were two vehicles, so the Mazda Cx-9 and the ID4, that had good marks all the way across. And this is just for the side crash test. And so basically what we're talking about is your child in the back seat doesn't get severely injured. I think that's really important. I wouldn't want if I had a child, I wouldn't want him to be injured.
Last thing you want as a parent is to inadvertently hurt your child.
Yeah. So these two vehicles are good all the way across the board. And what I thought was really interesting is the Mazda Cx-9 was last redesigned in 2016. So they designed this without knowing about this test, and it was a solid vehicle.
Yeah. That's impressive.
So the other one is the ID4, which is an all-electric vehicle just out for the 2021 model year. However, this was my shocker. The Honda Pilot Passport Duo only came back with a marginal rating. That's one up off of the bottom.
That's right. Honda's usually known for having really, safe vehicles. It's one of the things they practice quite a bit. So yeah, I'm sure when you see the refresh of these vehicles, they're gonna have a huge emphasis on this test.
Yeah. And I think those refreshes are coming soon. Yeah. Hyundai Palisade, Kia Telluride also got marginal ratings. They didn't do very well. They have a refresh coming out for next year, and this hadn't been done yet. This test hadn't been done yet. So I wonder if there's going to be some little tweaks happening in the next 6 months to make sure that the 2023 model years level up and score a little bit better.
Right.
The other thing is, All right, Nissan Murano is dead last, and this was the oldest vehicle of the bunch. So I'll be honest with you, this didn't surprise me when it came out. I love the zero gravity seats. I love how it drove, but I feel like Nissan just kind of is dangling this out there, and it's waiting to die. Right. This is on my watch list. This is a vehicle I think is going away soon. So I don't think this will be fixed. I mean, yay, you can get a good deal, but do you want it? I don't know. So I thought that was really interesting. I love watching the IIHS crash tests because
it's a stress reliever when they vehicles.
Oh yeah.
You're like, wow.
You can kind of see like up at the beginning, like this is the and they put a lot of photos of the crash tests that appear on their website. We do have a link to their overall findings, and you can look at the crash test of each SUV, and it'll show you on the, and I'm like pointing like you can see what I'm pointing at, never mind. But you can see like the ink, because when they put the crash test dummy in the seat, they'll put ink on the face, and then you can see on the side the airbags and the dash like where the face hit. Oh, good. I mean, it is fascinating. I love this stuff. I that is one of those things I geek over. But I think it's pretty cool, and I would buy every vehicle based on this, because especially if I had kids, because I mean, that's the last thing you want to happen. Okay. So next on the website, we've got this retro looking thing. And I think Tim and I probably have a different opinion about this, but
that's unrealistic.
I know. Surprise! So shocking. But the Toyota 4Runner turns 40, goes retro. Okay. So they've got a new limited edition model for this is the new thing for 2023, because you can't get new chips. There are no redesigns there. So you're going to see a lot of special edition models. Okay. So it's a limited run, and get this, it's 40th anniversary. So they're only going to produce 4,040.
Yes.
Because 4040.
Yes.
So, but yeah, so I mean, basically this is an appearance package. Let's see if I can come down here. We'll pull up the photo gallery. And I tell you, the first thing I thought of when I saw this was that Tacozilla SEMA.
Yeah. I mean, it's got the same heritage stuff. I could see that, right? So
but that stripe, mean,
right.
It was a different, it wasn't, they didn't show it in black, but like, that's what that made me think of immediately. So you have,
I love those wheels, by the way.
Oh, and on this vehicle, I think the bronze wheels work. I think Toyota does bronze wheels really well.
I agree. Yeah.
Honda, not so much. Not actually at all. But Toyota manages to do them really well. Well, but yeah, so basically you're going to see there, and again, I'm pointing and you can't see what I'm pointing at here. I'll do this. You see there's a little badge right here. If we scroll through, you'll get a closer look. You've got the paint stripe there, and you've got the little stripe there.
I think Toyota needs to take that Heritage Edition striping and sell as a part you can add,
like an accessory.
Yeah, because I think I've seen fans do this to their vehicles, and I think it looks pretty cool. It definitely has a heritage. I mean, when I was growing up, that's what they used to do. So yeah, there's your 40th anniversary badge.
So on the interior, I think the only option for the interior is black. And then you'll get the 40th logo there, and you have you'll see it on the seats here, and as you see, it'll give you the special, one of. So that's kind of cool.
So yeah, it's going to be inexpensive.
But they haven't released pricing. They haven't released when this is coming out. I mean, I was guessing, okay, so I put the current pricing information, because so we're in the 2022 model year. This is going to be for 2023. For 2022, it's built off the SR5 trim. That base price is $39,000. I figure this appearance package is going to be about $1,500. I think there's going to be a price increase for 2023. So I'm estimating it'll be around $42,000. And then, I think we'll see it probably in Q3, Q4. Yeah. So last story I want to point out we have on the website actually is one this guy wrote. It's the 2022 Ford F-150 known problems. So we've started a new series on the website, and it's the known problems series. And the idea is we're looking at trucks. We're looking at, maybe we'll get to SUVs. I don't know. Right now we're starting with trucks. And the idea is let's look at each model year, and especially if they're new or newer, and talk about the known problems, because if you're going to buy a truck, you want to know if you're going to have an issue. And if you're buying a used truck, I could see people coming back and looking at these stories like 10 years from now. What are the known problems in the 2022 model? So,
and just to be clear, so we don't know 2022, like that's a new model and it takes time. What we do is we look back at 2021, we look back at comments on Facebook and stuff. We see if things have been addressed. I look at recalls, we look at all this kind of stuff. Yeah. We kind of get, we're not predicting future reliability. We're just trying to give you an idea of where we're at now.
It's a picture of this window in time,
right? So we did a 2022 Toyota Tundra, but that was based on information I have from the truck that we had bought and Facebook information. So I'm keyed in all this kind of stuff, trying to give you a good picture.
Yeah, and if you know of a problem that we don't mention, we love your comments. We actually, by the way, I'm going to point out, we read all of your comments. We read them all. So we like to see your comments. So if you know of something, or if you have questions about something that we've posted, post it on the website, post it on the YouTube channel. They are read. And if we have an answer for you, we will try and get it for you.
And sometimes we reach out to OEMs to get answers too. So we do both.
Yeah. But okay. So major problems. Ironically, it's not the turbo.
I know everybody wants to make a big deal about the EcoBoost. They're like, oh my gosh, tons of problems. And there are cases, a neighbor, a friend, whatever. And it is expensive, right? So it's like $2,000 per turbo to change it. Yeah. So I get it. But we've actually found more problems with the 5-liter V8.
Yeah. So V8 engine, the non-turbo, and then the 10-speed automatic transmission.
Yeah, the 10-speed has been a big sticking point for that brand. I've talked to owners who have gone and had their transmissions flashed, and that's been a big benefit because it's a learning transmission. Sometimes it learns the wrong way, and then it doesn't shift right, and so I've seen that. But it's a class action lawsuit. There's lots of issues going on. When I had the Power Boost in 2021, I didn't have any problems with it, but I had to mention it because I've had so many people reach out to me and talk about it. Yeah. And it's the only transmission offered in F-150s right now. So you don't have a choice.
Yeah. So no problem, or no choice, but it's a problem. And then, there's a trailer brake software issue, and there's a recall for it.
Again, I had a friend call me, and he was towing his a trailer behind his F-150, and all of a sudden the trailer brake controller just reset. Forgot he had a trailer. Whoops. Yeah, and he was in Tennessee going through the Rocky Mountains, not the Upright Mountains, but the Appalachian Mountains, and that's a bit of an issue going downhill.
That's just when you don't want the trailer brake to, poop out.
Yeah, right.
But then, there's also a recall for windshield wipers not working correctly.
Yeah, that was an interesting thing. The supplier basically built the wrong part.
Another oopsie.
Yep.
So minor problems. I mean, there's really not much here. There's like a water leak, it looks like, some power steering.
Yeah, there wasn't a whole lot
small issues. So yeah.
Interestingly though, I pulled up Consumer Reports and they gave it a 2 out of 5. They did not like that truck at all. And what's weird is like they had some higher marks. They said it was trending better, but then they're like, no, it's still 2 out of 5.
Well, and so I've talked with Consumer Reports about this, and the big reason why they ranked this lower, because I think I talked specifically about the Ford F-150. It's going to take a couple years for that rating to go back up, but they typically give lower ratings for new model years. So this was a complete changeover in 2021 and new generation vehicle. So they would give it lower marks until it's kind of like guilty until proven innocent. So they give it lower marks until it proved that it isn't going to be bad.
Yeah. So it is interesting.
So that's kind of the,
I always find it interesting. There was like, don't buy first year model of a vehicle, right? But then if you don't buy the first model year, nobody else buys it. And then how do you get problems? I'm always like mystified by this chicken and egg situation, right? You have to have people buying it to know if there's problems. If you don't buy it at all and you follow that device for Sage, then you don't have any. And then I know I bought new model years all throughout my life, and I don't have that many problems in new model years. Sometimes you do.
Yeah, I just think it's one of those things that if you want a trouble-free existence and you don't want to be a guinea pig, don't buy the first model year. Yeah. But like there are a lot of people who want to be on the cutting edge. They want the newest, latest, greatest iPhone, truck, and
they'll put up with a few small issues. Yeah.
And so you go through the growing pains because that's part of the process.
Yep.
Okay. So YouTube. We've done some stuff on YouTube.
We have been busy. So we just ran a few hours ago, the big change for Tacoma. We did a live stream last night where we had a beverage, it looks like. We had some fun with Expedition Timberline. Yeah. You need to check that video out. There's a trail turn assist, which is pretty cool. That Jill experienced first time. I took my buddies on a road trip with a Mercedes-Benz. There's a thing in that video which I didn't point out, but too well in the thumbnail, is that at night the lights do this weird thing at night. The brights. It's really interesting. You gotta watch the video on that one. Phil was out doing some Honda driving with the 2021 Honda Ridgeline. He's got some really cool drone footage you see there, and he did some towing, and he played through the sand trying to get out of like launching a boat. It's really interesting video. We did the Forerunner stuff, and then the big surprise for me is the last one. So I had done a story on the website about octane levels on different vehicles, what you should have, and then driving at altitude. When you see 85 octane, would you do 85, 87? There's a lot of conversation with myself in my head, what to do.
Right.
And so I did a video on it, and people loved it. So make sure you check that out too.
Okay, so what's the answer?
The answer is always use 87.
Okay, so if you see 85, don't ever go below 87. Is that what I'm hearing?
That's basically what the OEMs say. However, it's interesting. I've had people use 85 for years and had no problem. So I don't, and the thing is, when you get to the gas pump, the gas price being so high, 85 is typically 5, 10, 15 cents cheaper a gallon. And when you're doing 20, 30 gallons at a time, it makes a difference. And so I think it's interesting. I'm not sure. I mean, all the OEMs are like, oh, you can only use 87. If you don't, you're going to avoid your warranty and all this kind of stuff. But it's like, well, maybe. I don't know. And it's only in the Rocky Mountains. You have to get at altitude, which is weird to say, but Nebraska uses 85, but we're at 3,000 feet. So you don't find it here. Like, I don't think you see 85 here.
I don't know that I've ever seen.
And so the other thing too is like, this is Phil's video that he's showing. He shot it in the East Coast in Maryland, but 93, I don't have 93. So you can see the thumbnail. Go back off that a little bit to go off that. Then see the thumbnail, 85, 87, 89, and 91. Interesting. So what's interesting is that like the Chevy or the GMC Sierra 6.2 liter requires 93. Yeah, because I think I see 93. I don't have 93, so I can't actually put the fuel in that engine. I should put it in the engine. It's really interesting. So it's like, what do you do? And so I asked them, and they're like, well, do the best you can. And I'm like, how is that an answer? But yeah, do the best you can. That was kind of die. So that's a really interesting video. I share all the numbers for all different brands. I talked to Nissan, Toyota, Ram, Chevy. I took the Ford. I got all the information for you. Okay, cool. So we got a lot of good stuff on YouTube. We've got some good stuff on the website, but weren't you upset about something? I'm never upset about anything. I have no idea what you're talking about. Okay, Jill rant coming on. Okay, there may be there may be a small Jill rant. And by the way, if you have things that piss you off, again, comment below, because I'm gonna have to start borrowing somebody else's rants at some point, because there is not a lot that really hacks me off. I'll be honest. You would think that like I'm angry at life in the world, but I'm not. I'm really not. I'm a happy person, damn it. Good night. All right. But yeah, okay. So yeah. So this is all right. So I have another rant in the Hyundai Palisade. I'm gonna say again, this has nothing to do with the fact that this is a Hyundai Palisade. I see this in a lot of vehicles and it drives me flipping nuts. And that is the fact that on this vehicle, it has Apple CarPlay, yay, but you have to wire in to use Apple CarPlay. That in itself is not the problem. The problem is, this is the problem, they've also included a wireless charger. So this drives me crazy. I mention it in every video that has this. I don't know, it's not really an anomaly, this situation. Because why do you have, and literally right next to each other, why do you have a wireless charging pad when you were going to wire in anyway? Okay, now I'm going to say this one thing because somebody pointed out to me, Jill, do you actually use Apple CarPlay every single time you get in a car? Yeah, I do. I'm going to ask you, if you are an Apple CarPlay or Android Auto user, do you not use it every time you get in the car? To me, that's weird. So I live in Chicago. Maybe it's a Chicago thing. I live in Chicago, and when I drive anywhere, I always plug my destination into Waze, so I get a time of when I'm going to be arriving at my location. Go to O'Hare. I could drive to O'Hare blindfolded, but I don't know what the traffic pattern is. And sometimes Waze will tell me if I need to exit or take a side street or there's an accident or, hey, by the way, there's a cop on the road, slow down. So yeah, I plug into Apple CarPlay
every single time. So this drives me flipping nuts because I have to wire in, but then where do I set my phone? Do I put it in a cup holder? Because I don't want to put my phone on top of the wireless charging pad while I'm wired in. And because that gets hot. And so I don't know. It's this huge conundrum with me. I really hate the fact that people include a wireless charger when you have to wire in to use Apple CarPlay. Either you have wired in Apple CarPlay and no charging pad. Don't do the charging pad. That's extra money. Why are you doing it when you already have to wire in? Or have a completely wireless environment. So wireless charging pad, wireless Apple CarPlay, all good. It's either or, not and or. I don't know. It's a thing. In case you missed it, kind of fires me up. I don't like it, and it drives me nuts. I get that technology kind of develops in different things, and this is, being developed by these people, and that's being developed by those people, but come on, talk to each other, work together. One thing or nothing. That's kind of my rant for the day. Nothing to do with the Hyundai Palisade specifically, just cars in general that do this. It drives me crazy.
No, I agree. It is frustrating, and it's a miscommunication between the entire team, right? So these teams work together, but that to me is what's called silo engineering, where teams over here working, teams over there working. I'm just kidding, teams over here, teams over there, and so they're not communicating. Yeah, that's okay.
Well, I mean, it's also, technology advances at different rates. And I know Hyundai specifically, like Apple will drop an update, but Hyundai's been developing this technology for Apple CarPlay for years. And then they drop this update and it could be wireless, but now it's not wireless because they didn't do the system to be wireless, but now it's available. And then you have this wireless charging pad that they're just going to throw in. So I get that, the technology cycles are different and there's a lot of other things going on, but it still makes me crazy.
Yeah, from consumers shouldn't have to worry about that.
Yeah. So I feel like we talked a lot. We have. I'm sorry, you put me on, you double the time of the news. He wants me to do these by myself, by the way. This is going to end up being a 3-hour thing. So I don't think that's a good idea. But yeah, so I
have to go on vacation sometimes. So anyways, so what's coming up this week? So what are we doing this week? So we're going to Texas on Tuesday. Be at Toyota's headquarters for the week. We have a Sequoia Drive. Probably gonna have some Tundras down there. We'll have the 4Runner Heritage probably gonna be there. The Venza has a new thing we'll probably look at. The Sienna's got the new 40th, 20th, 50th anniversary, whatever edition we have. So we'll have a variety of stuff. There's some press conferences and things, so we can see some new stuff. I would love to see the Tacoma there. I don't think it's going to be there, but we'll see what else is going to show up there.
Yep.
And as far as videos, we were at the Midwest Automotive Media Association, MAMA rally. We have a ton of stuff coming up for the weekend. We have the Ford Lightning Drive where we had a discussion about
It'll be very entertaining. You're going to want to see it.
Grab your popcorn. We also had, we did the capstone. We have a ton of EV comparisons that this is the future, guys. You're going to have to watch it at some point. So check it out now.
And we're entertaining. Come on. Even if you don't care about the car, watch us.
Yeah, exactly.
Watch me.
Exactly. So,
or not. I don't know. Watch us.
Right. I think that's all we have this week.
Yeah, that's what's going on.
So make sure you check out on the website on pickuptrucktalk.com. And then make sure you check us on YouTube. Check the videos over there. And we will see you down the road. I was trying to hit the button.